Meantime, of course, we've got the budget this week. We'll have full coverage, a special 90-minute version of the show coming up after all of our budget coverage out of Canberra. I think we're doing it at the slightly later time of 9 o'clock, not our current time of 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. But I'll tell you this. Cost of living, cost of living, cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. Now, I told you that if the economy becomes about cost of living, Labor does better. If the economy becomes about the lowest unemployment rate in the best part of 50 years, the government's going to do better. But remember the words of the bloke who was slam dunk going to win the South Australian election, that even when he was going to win, he wouldn't tell people lies. Here's what Peter Malinauskas said. Remember that People's Forum.
I think Australians are sick of hearing politicians promise that they're going to reduce the prices of groceries. They're going to reduce the prices of petrol. Never happens. The Premier doesn't control the petrol price. If I become Premier, I'm not going to control the petrol price. And an app telling us what the price up the road isn't going to change what Vladimir Putin is doing in Russia. So let's just be honest about it. Governments and politicians don't control groceries or fuel prices.
Correct, sir. Correct. Yet because cost of living, cost of living, cost of living, cost of living keeps being told to us, the budget is going to spend a lot of money on apparently dealing with cost of living. It won't affect prices, but it is all about apparently trying to help people cope with prices. Here's what the Treasurer is saying.
Well, the cost of living relief in this budget will be temporary, it will be targeted, it will be focused on helping Australian families. We recognise that this is the number one topic around Australian kitchen tables right now. And
sure is.
And petrol prices have been rising off the back of international events, the war in Ukraine in particular. And we recognise the need to provide cost of living relief to Australian families.
So that's what a lot of the conversation is going to be about the budget. But can we focus in on a couple of things that are also about the federal budget, and they're not as exciting as in what's in it for you? Will it be a milkshake, a hamburger, tax cut? Will it be $500 of free money or $1,000 free money? I like some of the other decisions that are going to be made in this budget, ones that, as I said, won't get the attention on Tuesday night, including the Prime Minister saying they're going to spend $365 million, but more importantly, create an extra 30,000 apprenticeships in the country. This is good. We need more tradies.
So we're very proud today that we are now extending our successful boosting apprenticeships and commencing apprenticeship scheme, which I'll ask Minister Robert to go through the detail of, by an extra $350 million. And that brings, as I said, the total investment to some $7.6 billion, backing in Australian apprentices like no government has ever done before.
The Morrison government truly is the best friend that tradies have ever had.
But then you also have announcements like one today. It was a profound decision today. I think one of the best things this government has done when it comes to health, and they don't talk about it enough, because you hear constantly about Each Way Albo and Labor going on about health. Well, one thing that the federal government can control are the drugs that end up on the pharmaceutical benefits scheme. And every single year that this government has been in office, regardless of the Prime Minister, they have found new drugs to help people and cut the price of what they pay. Today, the announcement was about a drug to help you with cystic fibrosis. Now, this is how government can truly help people's lives. This was a lady who has championed this for a long time, saying thank you to the government for signing off on this deal.
For me, this is a very overwhelming day for me and for my family. This is the hospital where Mackenzie was born, and this is not far from where Mackenzie passed away. I'm overwhelmed. I am just a mum who wanted to fight for change for my daughter. To many that are listening to this today, this might just be another piece of news. But for those like us that have lost a child or who are fighting through severe illness due to genetic conditions, this announcement is everything.
And it comes a day after another major piece of information that will actually change people's lives. Jenny Morrison has been very open about endometriosis. Anyone who has gone through that particular battle knows how awful it is. Strength and love to every woman who goes through it. And there are plenty of blokes who understand what happens when your partner is going through that. While the Canberra Press Gallery interpreted this as some sort of political play, it was actually a play that meant people would be able to help treat this particular condition. Specific places will be built to deal with this condition. This apparently is the political party that has a problem with women. Well, it is taking care of a very intimate but very painful problem.
People with endometriosis, it's not just like a few cramps or something like that. It's actually really debilitating.
Yeah. And what were the doctors telling you at that point?
Year 8, I just went on with it, and I didn't take time off school. I don't know how I did it.
You know how? Girls are tough. Yeah,
girls are tough. We're so tough.
And meantime as well, today, Lifeline is going to get an extra $53 million. Now, again, these numbers after a while don't mean much to you, but can I tell you? After going to Lismore like we did on the weekend, Lifeline is currently offering video counselling and phone counselling to people who will deal with the long-term traumas of what happened in Lismore, on top of everything else, on top of all of the stuff that we talked about last year. They're also coordinating that incredible building at the local showgrounds where people turn up to get new clothes, to get food. And the government made special priority for this today.
The rate of suicide in this country actually declined. And the people who did that are on the phone right now. They are the lifesavers.
So while the endless conversation is going to be about the politics of this week, government is in a position at state and federal level to actually do things that actually improve people's lives. And this weekend improved a lot of people's lives. Now you can say, look at the timing, look at the clock, look at how close we are to an election. But you know what? All of this money's locked in. All of these people will be being taken care of. Again, this isn't about winning elections, it's about doing the right thing. And they did the right thing this weekend. Now, of course, in opposition, you don't get to make decisions, but you make promises. Compare that with the chief promise that was being made on Instagram this weekend by Each Way Albo. He's just bullshitting to people. But maybe it's the BS people want to hear. You deserve a government that cares about cost of living pressures and will act to lift your wages. It's not true. Let me explain. When they talk about that, they're not talking about a pay rise for you. They're talking about writing a letter to the Fair Work Commission to reintroduce increased penalty rates for people who are working on Sundays and public holidays. Do those people deserve their penalty rates? We can probably talk about that. But that's not the promise. Because you see, they are operating on a level of detail that assumes you don't know how things actually work. They are playing to the people who think that the Prime Minister is some sort of a magical figure who can just wave a finger and everything gets better. What the federal government can do on health is list drugs on the PBS. What the federal government can do for your wage is to make sure that the person who runs your business is able to do so in an easier fashion, paying less tax, which hopefully they put back into their employees. His promise this weekend is false. It is fake. But will there be a fact checker coming anywhere near that from the ABC? Methinks not.